Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotra Hadashi Shrimati's Divine Grace Abhay Charan Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan Ki Jai Shri Shri Gaura Nitai Ki Jai Sri Caitanya Caritamrita Ki Jai Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Samaveda Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Jai Nitai Guru Pramanande Hari Hari Bo Nam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Putleshmi Jai Pataka Samnitanam Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradaya Gauraktatam Deva Nagara Gramatarne. Hare Krishna. We'll continue with our discussion on Caitanya Caritamrita, chapter 7. Yesterday we were discussing about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's direct explanation on Vedanta Sutra. So if you recollect, there were 3 questions that are asked by the Mayavadi sannyasis. First question is, why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanting and dancing? For which he replied that a spiritual master instructed him to do. And second one was, what is wrong? Why is he not studying Vedanta Sutras? So in reply to that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exposed all the flaws in Adi Shankaracharya's commentaries. And then when they are convinced, when all the Kasira Mayavadis headed by Prakashananda Saraswati, they are all convinced by the argument of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they asked him next, so what is the direct explanation of Vedanta Sutra? To which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains the commentary, or rather the meaning of Vedanta Sutra is very simple. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, yesterday we were discussing about how he mentioned that every Vedanta Sutra speaks about only 3 aspects: Sambandha, Abhidaya, and Prayojana. Sambandha means our relationship with the Supreme Lord. He is Prayojana, Abhidaya. Sambandha is our relationship with the Supreme Lord. Abhidaya is the process of devotional service, specifically sadhana bhakti, how we prepare ourselves to offer our service to the Supreme Lord. And Prayojana is the goal of life. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also mentioning how this Krishna Prema is so rare that once somebody attains it, even the Supreme Lord comes under the pure devotee's control. So Krishna doesn't award that easily. So everyone has to follow this process. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says literally each and every line of Vedanta and Vedanta Sutra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains that each and every line of Vedanta Sutra talks about these 3 aspects only: Sambandha, Abhidaya, and Prayojana. And we'll finish the chapter today. So when all the Mayavadis, when they hear this beautiful explanation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were all very convinced. And they immediately take up to the process of chanting. They follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu starts a Prem Sankirtan festival there. And all the Mayavadi sannyasis, they followed his feet. They become Vaishnavas and they all chant and dance. And then it's mentioned at the end of that, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proceeded along with them to honor the prasad by this Brahmana. If you remember, there was a Brahmana who came and invited all the sannyasis to his house in Kasi. So that's how this pastime finishes. When Tapan Mishra, Chandrasekhar, even Sanatana Goswami, he was also present there, witnessing this whole miracle. When they come to know about it, they all became very happy. So this chapter finishes with then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then every day he would go to the temple of Vishweshwara. Vishweshwara is the temple for the worship of Lord Shiva in Kashi, like Kashinath. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, every day he would go there and he would chant, dance there. It's mentioned that Lord Shiva is one of the favorite associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nimnaganam yata ganga, devanam achito yata, vaishnavanam yata shampu, purananam idam tata. So Lord Shiva, he is the greatest among all the Vaishnavas. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wherever he goes, be it in Kashi now, and you will see later when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to South India, that is elaborately described in Madhya Lila. There also, whenever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to any place where Lord Shiva is worshipped, he would go to the temple and he would chant and dance there as well. And Lord Shiva would also join him, either directly or in disguise, like that it's mentioned. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always was showing a lot of respect to Lord Shiva as the greatest Vaishnava. As how one Vaishnava would greet another, Likewise, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, on the mood of the supreme devotee, he was also worshipping. So after this whole pastime finishes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then returns to Puri. So that's how the pastime is finished. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while he is in Puri, he then dispatches each of his different devotees to different parts of India to continue to preach. Like he sends Nityananda Prabhu to Bengal. Then he sends Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. We saw he sends them to Vrindavana. There are other associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself sent to Vrindavana, like Bhugarbha Goswami. So they are one of the first ones to arrive. Lochan Das Thakur, they are the first ones to, or Lokanath Goswami, for example, rather. So they are the first ones to arrive in Vrindavana, and then all the other Goswamis, they slowly come there and they settle and they preach. They write elaborate descriptions, commentaries on Krishna Lila, glorifying Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. So that's what they were doing. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, as the greatest Acharya, he was traveling in South India, preaching. So everywhere, Nityananda Prabhu in Bengal, for assisting Nityananda Prabhu, he sends all the other associates also to go with him. The Ghosh brothers we were discussing, Ramdas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sends with them, like that. Srivas Thakur, everyone help. Nityananda Prabhu, likewise, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they do in Vrindavan, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does the whole of South India. Even though we say South India, actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu covers everything. Southeastern India all the way to Kanyakumari, and then goes all the way to Western India also. Surat, Narmada, he goes all the way till there. So he covers practically whole of India. So that is how this chapter finishes. I'll just finish reading the last 6 or 7 verses, concluding verses of this chapter. This is verse 163. Adi Lila chapter 7 verse 163. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates of Panchatattva distributed the holy name of the Lord to invoke love of Godhead throughout the universe, and thus the entire universe was thankful. If you remember, the title of this chapter is called Lord Chaitanya and 5 features. That's how we started our discussion. Panchatattvatmakam Krishna, Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam, Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam, Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. And then we were discussing how each one of the role of each one of them, and how they broke open the love of Godhead storehouse and they gave out indiscriminately. And there were 6 types of people. We saw how they evaded the mercy of the Lord, and how Lord took sannyas and then he convinced them. Only category of people who evaded him were Mayavadis, and we see in this pastime Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted them also. So literally, nobody could escape the Prema Mahajala, the unique love of Godhead network, which Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has so expertly cast. So everyone were getting converted. So in conclusion of this chapter, it's mentioned, Krishna as Kaviraj Goswami is saying that every member of Panchatattva, they were all indiscriminately giving out all the mercy. Verse 164, Lord Chaitanya dispatched the 2 generals, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, to Vrindavana to preach the Bhakti cult. 165, as Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami were sent toward Madura, so Nityananda Prabhu was sent to Bengal to preach extensively the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 166, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally went to South India and he broadcast the holy name of Krishna in every village and town. 167, thus the Lord went to the southernmost tip of Indian peninsula known as Setubandha, Cape Comorin. Everywhere he distributed the Bhakti cult and love of Krishna, and in this way he delivered everyone. I have thus explained, 168, I have thus explained the truth of Panchatattva. One who hears this explanation increases in knowledge of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we all feel that, so much of the philosophy, but so much of mood, so much of the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explained in this chapter. That's why this chapter is one of the most important chapters of the entire Caitanya Caritamrita, Adi Lila chapter 7. It explains about the mission of the Lord, explains about the tattva of Panchatattva, the different members of the Panchatattva, explains about the mercy, how as followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we should also imbibe that mood of Sri Panchatattva, and then we also should deliver everyone. And how Srila Prabhupada, how he opens this chapter is, we should also take shelter of the Panchatattva by chanting their Mahamantra. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar, Shivashadi, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. And Srila Prabhupada would often say that chanting Krishna's name one may commit offense, but chanting Panchatattva's name, nobody can commit offense. In fact, they remove everyone's offenses. So this chapter is very, very important. So I'll read 168 again. I have thus explained the truth of the Panchatattva. one who hears this explanation increases in knowledge of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 169. While chanting the Panchatattva Mahamantra, one must chant the names of Sri Chaitanya, Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhara and Srivasa with their many devotees. This is the process. This is verse 169. 170. I again and again offer obeisances unto the Panchatattva. Thus, I think that I will be able to describe something about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's mentioned that there is only one personality who knows each and every pastime of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Now, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, if you remember, we'll discuss that shortly in the next chapter, that it was only under the instruction of Lord Nityananda Prabhu did Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He leaves his home and goes to Vrindavan. And it was only due to the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying he is able to describe something. But later on, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also explains that the only personalities who knows in and out about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood, his mellow, mission, pastime, everything to the minutest detail is Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying the only way to approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is through the mercy of Lord Nityananda. There is no other way. But then the only way to approach to the lotus feet of Nityananda is through Advaita Gosai, okay, Advaita Acharya. So these three tattvas we have to take shelter. Text 171, which is the last verse of this chapter. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Raghunatha, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Dasa, narrate Sri Caitanya Caritamrita following in their footsteps. Sri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Arasha, Sri Caitanya Caritamrita Kahe Krishna Dasa. So this is how this chapter finishes. Now, this is chapter 7. Chapter 8 discusses about the author's background before he starts to write Caitanya Caritamrita. In fact, our very first class, which we had, I think today is 25th or 26th, the very first class we were discussing a bit of the history of different biographies and how Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he was in his home and then he had some situation in his home. So there was an associate of Lord Nityananda Prabhu called Meenaketh Ramdas. When he comes there, Meenaketh Ramdas, he tells in the assembly, because there is a sadhu sangha that was happening in the brother's house of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So in that assembly, Meenaketh Ramdas, who is a personal associate of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he comes there. He tells all the people there that in order for you to take shelter of Lord Chaitanya, you should take shelter of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And that statement was immediately accepted by everyone, except there were some people who didn't quite entertain that statement and follow that sincerely. And one of them happened to be Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's brother. So after this whole pastime finishes, Meenaketh Ramdas leaves a little disappointed with some of them. And the whole pastime finishes, everyone goes. Now Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he was sitting there morose, thinking, my God, my brother has been a greatest offender at the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu. He was feeling very morose. In that thought, he goes to sleep. In the dream only, he sees Lord Nityananda Prabhu, flanked by all his associates. They come, and then Nityananda Prabhu, it's mentioned like he was a king and everyone was worshipping him. And he was looking at Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and it tells Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, oh Krishnadas, give up all your lamentation. Immediately leave to Vrindavan. There all your heart's desires will be fulfilled. Now when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami hears this, he was 90 years old actually. Then he immediately gives, next day morning he leaves to Vrindavan. So this is how this whole background is actually given in 8th chapter. So that's how 8th chapter is given. So 8th chapter, if you see, the author receives the order of Krishna and Guru. So first he receives the order of Guru, which is Nityananda Prabhu. Then from there, then he goes to Vrindavan. There he takes the shelter of Raghunath Das Goswami, who is his Guru, Diksha Guru. Then he hears the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Katha every day on the banks of Radhakunda, 3 hours. Then he makes note, and then every other Goswamis, all the associates, Brajabasis, they come and request Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami to please write Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Puri pastimes, because Chaitanya Bhagavata already elaborately describes about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Navadvip pastimes, first 24 years. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Puri pastimes, especially what happened in the last 24 years, that wasn't elaborately explained in any of the other Kavya, Mahakavya of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then taking that as the instruction, then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami goes and takes permission from Madan Mohan deity. So when he pays obeisances, Madan Mohan drops the garland to him, signaling his permission, asking him to go ahead. So that's how this whole chapter is explained. So this is chapter 8. We already covered this in the very first class. Chapter 9, it's one of the shortest chapters of Caitanya Caritamrita. It talks about the desire tree of devotional service. We'll discuss that tomorrow. Last few days I thought we'll discuss about the Sanyas pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The pastime of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taking Sanyas. Because the pastime is a bit longer, I always end up skipping it to the next day. So I thought today I'll start it early before we miss one other day. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in Navadvip Dham as Nimai Pandit, he takes initiation. He goes to Gaya, he takes initiation from Ishwarapuri. Then upon returning back, he starts his Sankirtan movement slowly. Initially among his students only, and then slowly he takes it outside. Sriva Sangan, and then he does Harinam in public area also. However, as he was doing this way, he thinks at one point, everyone I'm able to convince except people who are very envious. And there are 6 types of people we were discussing. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thinks, in order for me to make them take shelter of this process, I need to at least take sannyas. If I do that, then naturally all these people, they out of respect, they will fall down, and that way all their offenses will go away, and immediately their heart will be infused with the Krishna Bhakti. So this is the thought process of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Namo Mahavadanyaya, most munificent incarnation. Only he can think like that. So that making up his mind, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then consults with few of his associates. It's mentioned that there are only 5 associates who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discussed about his plan to take sannyas. Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar Pandit, Mukunda Datta, then Chandrasekhar Acharya, and Brahmananda. 5 associates only. And Sachimata also knew about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Sachimata, takes her permission also. So the day before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taking initiation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is still in Navadvip. He kept it as a secret affair because he doesn't want the residents of Navadvip to know about it. Because he knows, as soon as they know about it, they will just drop down dead because they simply can't bear thoughts of separation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 24 years they have associated with them every single day. And we were discussing about Nimai Pandit's pastimes as a scholarly Brahmana, how he would go intimately deal with everyone. Everyone's heart was totally lost to him. And every one of them were his eternal associates. Even though none of them knew, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu alone would know. We were discussing about how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go to a bazaar and he would see garland maker, fragrant oil maker, cloth weavers, even astrologer. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go and intimately he'll deal with them. Kolavecha, Sridhar, everyone. So on this particular evening before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leaves for sannyas, the day before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's sannyas initiation, Kolavecha Sridhar comes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's home because Kolavecha Sridhar is a very, very humble devotee, humble Vaishnava, very impoverished from external circumstances. So he brings a big pumpkin to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he tells him, "My Lord, I brought this for you. Please accept this offering." So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he says this pure devotee is bringing this, how can I say no to him? So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately gets it, gives it to Sachimata, and then tells Sachimata, "Please make a nice dish with milk and pumpkin." So Sachimata happily goes and cooks. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whoever devotees that were his associates who were assembled there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sits and have a good dinner with all of them. And then makes everyone leave. Gadadhar Pandit and Haridas Thakur alone, it's mentioned they were in his home that night. Then there is a conversation that's actually mentioned about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu having with Vishnupriya, his eternal consort, about his impending sannyas initiation. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells about what he is actually intending to do in a slightly indirect way. It's mentioned that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother also would know. So Haridas Thakur and Gadadhar Pandit, they were taking rest. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also lying down there. And early in the morning, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu woke up and he wanted to leave before anyone woke up. But it's mentioned that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to sleep and he immediately summoned the Nidra Devi and told her that make every resident of Navadvip sleep. She made everyone sleep, But then there are some intimate associates who she couldn't make them sleep. One is Sachimata, second is Gadadhar Pandit. As soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wakes up, Gadadhar Pandit also wakes up. And Gadadhar Pandit tells to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you are Swarat, you are independent, I can't stop you, but let me go with you. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says like no one is going with me. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then he comes, it's mentioned that right at the doorstep, Sachimata was there sitting like a stone and her eyes pouring torrents of tears because she doesn't want to lose her dear Nimai. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, touches her lotus feet and then takes her blessings saying, I have to do this. It's the Supreme Lord Krishna's desire. Even though this is Krishna himself, it's the Supreme Lord Krishna's desire that I have to take this step forward in order to drown everyone in Krishna Bhakti. You have brought me up, you are the most mercifulest of all personalities in this world. You have brought me up, you have taken care of me, you have showered love upon me so much. And I'm eternally indebted to you. It is only due to your blessings that I can take this next step. So I kindly seek your blessings. And it's mentioned, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu literally put his head at her lotus feet, taking her dust and smearing his head all over. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just leaves straight away. He comes to a place called Katva. Katva is a place that's about 45 minutes north of Navadvip Dham. There are a lot of pastimes in Katva. We can discuss some other time. So Katva is a place. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proceeds north, reaches Katva. So he reaches Katva, and as it was previously planned, all his other 5 associates come and join the Supreme Lord, who were Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar Pandit, then Chandrasekhar Acharya, Mukunda Datta, and Brahmananda. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there. All of them, they come and they join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy to see them. He embraces all of them. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proceeds to walk towards Keshava Bharati's ashram. It's mentioned that when Keshava Bharati was just coming out of his ashram, this is the scene that the Acharyas depict. He saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu coming like a maddened lion whose effulgence was making millions of suns to go ashamed about their lack of effulgence. Okay, it put them to shame. And then Keshava Bharati is looking at him and he's like, who is this? This tall personality coming, raising his arms and he's chanting and dancing. And all his associates, they were walking right behind him. Advaita, rather Nityananda, Gadadhara, Mukunda, Chandrasekhara and Brahmananda. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is walking like a maddened lion, with the gait of a maddened lion. Lion usually they walk, they calculate their steps and they do. Maddened lion means they walk fast. They don't really see what step they are taking. When they see the target, they just walk. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was walking like that. Keshava Bharati, who is his sannyas guru, when he looks at him, he don't know how to respond to him. He's looking at him and he's watching, who is this effulgent personality? His heart was like filled, overcome with joy, just looking at him, chanting Hare Krishna. And then as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was coming closer and closer, Keshava Bharati immediately, he was holding something, he immediately puts it down and he runs towards Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to fall at his feet. But then before he could fall, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stops him by falling first. So it's mentioned as he was about to fall at his feet, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately falls at his feet. And he says, Gurudev, like that. Please initiate me. It's only due to your mercy I'll be able to do devotional service to Krishna. Now Keshava Bharati doesn't know how to react. He asks him, who are you? I have never seen anyone like this. I have never seen anyone exhibiting the bhava or the mellows of devotional service to Krishna like this. Who are you? Then he introduces himself as like, I'm Nimai Pandit. I come from Navadvip Dham. And then he introduces his associates. And he says, my life will be incomplete. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes the role of a humble soul, literally taking a straw of grass between his teeth, biting it, and then he is touching the feet of Keshava Bharati, Sri Keshava Bharati, and he is begging him, please give me sannyas. Then Keshava Bharati says, all right, I'll give you. So then the whole day they were performing Harinam Sankirtan in that area. Everyone in Katwa, even though they have never seen Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before, their heart just couldn't make them sit in their home. They were just getting pulled. Whole day they were having Harinam Sankirtan there. He made Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, Nityananda Prabhu was dancing, everyone was dancing. And all the people, they were just looking at him without being able to take their eyes away. It's mentioned whole day they were just standing there stunned looking at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates dancing. So then in the evening they all go. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continues to discuss Krishna Katha throughout the night. That was the night before. So the night before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leaves Navadvip, This is the second night. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is still discussing Krishna Katha and Katva. Then early in the morning, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Chandrasekhar, you are the expert in Vedic rituals. Please go and make arrangement for all the yajna. Sanyasa initiation would happen today. Then Chandrasekhara says, all right. Then he goes, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Mukunda Datta to start to sing. So he sings, Nityananda Prabhu starts to dance, and so is Gadadhar Pandit also, and Brahmananda. They start to dance. Now before taking sannyas initiation, he should first shave his head. So now he calls for the barber, who is very famous in that area. So he comes. So he calls the barber, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells him, please shave my head. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is seated, barber is seated there, Kirtan is going on, Mukunda Datta is singing, Nityananda Prabhu is singing, and all the people around, they were also, first day they were watching, slowly they were starting to dance, second day they also became mad due to the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. So there was a very boisterous Kirtan going on, ecstatic Kirtan. As soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells the barber, shave my head, including my shika, shave my head clean. Immediately Kirtan stops and everyone starts to wail, telling the barber, don't you dare touch his hair. All the women in the crowd, they were thinking, what, is he here to take sannyas? Till that point they didn't know that he was going to take sannyas. Then they were thinking, my God, what would his mother feel now? Who is the wife who would actually go through this most unfortunate situation? And how can somebody shave this hair? This is so beautiful, curly. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's hair would come, fall all the way to his shoulder. Very curly hair, shiny black. That's the color that's given. So everyone in the crowd was literally threatening the barber, don't you touch his hair. Now barber himself saying, I don't want to shave. Who would want to shave this one? Who would want to shave this hair? This is such a beautiful hair. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells him, you please shave my head, otherwise I can't take initiation, sannyas initiation. Then barber says, impossible, I can't do. I don't want to do this, I don't know how to shave, I'm out of here. He just puts it and he was going. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells him, look, shaving someone's head who is coming and asking you, that's your duty. You do your duty, what's your problem? He says, duty is one thing, but I don't want to shave for you. Who would want to shave this hair? You definitely look like a very divine personality. Somehow coming in front of you, I feel so ecstatic. I don't want to do this heinous act by shaving your head. And look at all the other people. They are also very upset. So nobody wants to do. Nityananda Prabhu, when he hears Chaitanya Mahaprabhu telling, shave my hair, Nityananda Prabhu loses it. And then he starts to roll all around, making Hare Krishna, but then making sound also. Very loud sound. It's mentioned that when Nityananda Prabhu goes into ecstasy, he would sing Kirtan so loud, it will tear the eardrum away. Or rather, eardrum away. It's like that. Doesn't mean like people will become deaf, but he would give his everything when he actually chants Hare Krishna. So as Nityananda Prabhu was also rolling, weeping, crying, telling like, why should the hair go away? Hair should be there and everything. So he was like rolling here. Nityananda Prabhu was also not so favorable for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taking sannyas. Nobody was favorable, but Nityananda Prabhu was rolling everywhere. Then finally Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells the barber, look, somebody has to shave. I have made up my mind that I am going to take sannyas. You do your duty. Then barber, then he picks up the knife, and as he was picking up the knife, there was pin drop silence, and it would go closer, his hand would shake already, and then all the people would say no, and then immediately the instrument would actually, the knife would fall off his hand. Again he will cry bitterly. Like this, it's mentioned, whole day went like this from morning all the way till evening. The shaving ceremony only goes. Then again he'll pick. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will again inspire him. Look, just do this one act. I will maintain you for eternity. You never had to work. I will maintain you for eternity. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives some assurance. Just shave my head. Then again he would pick. He would cry. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Again he'll drop. Then whole day he was trying. Finally he was crying, and then he touches and then he shaves. And it's mentioned as he was shaving, he was weeping profusely. All the other people around, they were also crying so much. And finally it's mentioned that the barber, after shaving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took a vow, throwing all the instruments, saying, I will never ever actually shave to anyone. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the last person he shaved. Acharyas comment that this barber, because of his association with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, touching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and doing his service. After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gets up and he walks to take bath in Ganga, he was just crying profusely, falling on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's hair and hugging it for a long, long time, weeping. It's mentioned, Acharyas are saying that because of this service which he did for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with the sparsha which he actually got of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for rest of his life, he changed his profession. Whatever he cooked would taste like nectar. So he was simply cooking sweets for rest of his life, and he would just freely give to everyone, as Mahaprasad, offering it to Krishna and giving. And as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu promised him, he never had to work for rest of his life. So this is Babar. Now in this whole group, there is one particular devotee whose name is highlighted. His name is Gangopadaya. Gangopadaya is the future father of Srinivas Acharya. He comes from East Bengal. He heard about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he wanted to meet Nimai Pandit. He has heard about, okay, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord, I want to take his darshan. So as he was nearing Navadvip, that's when he hears through the rumor that was going around, hey, Nimai Pandit is going to take sannyas. Then he's asking, Nimai Pandit taking sannyas? I'm going to Navadvip to meet him. Where is he now? He has already gone to Katva. Then he immediately runs to Katva. Among the people that were witnessing this event, this Gangopadaya is also one of them. He was also watching this whole thing. Everyone was crying. He is also crying. First time he is saying he also don't know why he is crying, but he was also crying. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes fully shaven, takes bath, comes back. Again they do kirtan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu jumps up and down. He dances. Everyone dances. Keshav Bharati, when he looks, he is a Mayavadi sannyasi, mind you. So when Sri Keshav Bharati, when he looks, he gets stunned. Who is this personality? You know, this is like the greatest of all Vaishnavas I have seen. Nobody I have seen who could make people take shelter of Krishna's name like this. Who is he? I have never seen a personality like this. Then Keshav Bharati, then he sits in the yagya, which is organized by Chandrasekhara. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is seated. Keshav Bharati is seated this side of the yagya fire. And then he tells Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that I give you sannyas initiation. But before that, Keshav Bharati had to give him the sannyas mantra. At that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leans forward. First he tells Keshav Bharati that actually last night I had a dream. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Sri Keshav Bharati. I had a dream and one divine personality came and told me a mantra and telling me this is Vaishnava sannyas mantra. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leans forward and he tricks Sri Keshav Bharati by reciting the mantra and initiating Sri Keshav Bharati into Vaishnavism. So he leans forward and he chants the Vaishnava sannyas mantra. Then he asks him, so when he recites that, Keshav Bharati hears that. When he hears directly from the lips of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's like Brahma hearing directly from Krishna. When he hears that, Acharyas comment that his whole body got transformed, whole heart got transformed, and he was thinking, what is this mantra? This tells everything about the innermost profound meaning of the purpose in life. There's no other mantra that has got this profound meaning. Yes, this has to be the Vaishnava sannyas mantra. Then he is very convinced about it and then he recites that mantra. Srila Prabhupada in a lecture, when Prabhupada actually gave sannyas initiation to Tamal Krishna Maharaj in Jaipur, Prabhupada is reciting. If you read I couldn't find the audio for that, but I read the transcription of that. Srila Prabhupada is reciting each word of that. Etam saastaya paratma nishtam adyasitam purvatamair maharishibhihi aham tarishyami duranta param tamo mukundangri nishevayaiva. So Prabhupada says this is Vaishnava sannyas mantra. This is the mantra Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting. In ISKCON also this is the mantra which every sannyasi chants every day. So this mantra comes from Uddhava Gita, 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sri Krishna, he was reciting a story of Avanti Brahmana to Uddhava. A Brahmana in a place called Avanti. So this particular Brahmana was a very miserly person. He had a lot of wealth, however, he wouldn't use that wealth even to maintain himself. So it so happened that over a period of time, even though he hoarded a lot of wealth without using it for himself, what to speak of his family members, they were all in impoverished condition. Every one member of his family were starting to feel disappointed with him because of his miserly attitude. So they started ignoring him. They were not giving him food properly. Then slowly, in due course of time, it's mentioned that Krishna actually tells that part of his wealth was taken away by government officials. Another part was taken away by thieves. Another by people, his relatives, brothers, everyone. So in one fine morning, he just woke up. He was literally a pauper now. All along, he had wealth, but he was a miser, but he was a pauper. And he was thrown out of his home. Then he was sitting there, totally crestfallen, and he was sitting and thinking, what happened to his life? And then he gets this profound realization that the reason why I am sitting here in this particular situation and the reason why I met with all these different difficulties is due to my mind. This is will of providence, this is my karma, I'll just do. In that moment, he gets this mood of renunciation. And that's when he chants this mantra. I shall cross this insurmountable ocean of nations by being firmly fixed in the devotional service at the lotus feet of Krishna. This process is fully approved by all the previous acharyas, and they themselves were firmly fixed in the devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Etam saastaya paratmanishtam adyasitam purvatamair maharishbihi aham tarishyami durantaparam tamo mukundangri nishevayaiva. This is the mantra. So then Keshav Bharati gives to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. First Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives him, Keshav Bharati gives him back. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu initiates Keshav Bharati as a Vaishnav, and then now as a proper Vaishnava Guru, he then leans forward and he recites the mantra. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is initiated. Now at that time, Keshav Bharati is seated and he is thinking, I have to give him a name now as a sannyasi. What name can I give him? Now Keshav Bharati is thinking, Vrindavan Das Thakur, he explains that Keshav Bharati is thinking, usually he is still thinking himself as a Mayavadi sannyasi. He is still thinking, I belong to the Bharati sect, I belong to Shankara cult. And then one day later he'll change his mind, but as of now this is what he's thinking. Till now he hasn't figured out that this is Supreme Lord himself, Krishna. He still hasn't figured out. So when he was sitting here, he is sitting and thinking, whenever I give initiation, because my name is Sri Keshav Bharati, by etiquette is that who I initiate as a sannyas, the disciple will also carry Bharati as part of his title. But the name Bharati doesn't befit his supreme position. I have never seen a Vaishnava personality like him. So let me give him a name that would clearly tell what his qualities are, as what I have actually witnessed over the past 2 days. And it's Vrindavan Das Thakur explains that at that point, Mother Saraswati, she enters into his mind, and then he just became a mouthpiece of the instruction she was giving from his mind. So then he puts his right arm on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's chest, and then Keshav Bharati tells him, now I will give you a name because you have made all these people around sing and take shelter of Krishna's holy name, and they were able to take shelter so spontaneously. And you took all of them to ecstasy, thereby waking up all their dormant consciousness. Henceforth, you will be called as Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Sri Krishna, because you made everyone to chant the holy name of the Lord. This is something, in my understanding, which only the Supreme Lord can do. So I think you must be, some divine personality. And Chaitanya means, Prabhupada explains, Chaitanya means living force. So Keshav Bharati was thinking, I want to give him a unique name, which no one has ever given. So this is how he coins the name. So Sri Krishna Chaitanya, that personality who makes everyone chant the holy name of Krishna, and this personality who is none other than Krishna, and that personality who by making the people chant, he awakens the dormant Krishna consciousness from inside their heart, and they all go into ecstasy. That is Sri Krishna Chaitanya. As soon as he says Sri Krishna Chaitanya, all the Vaishnavas who were around, they were making Haribol, 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 Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Then a whole Kirtan, Prema Sankirtan again, it erupted there. From that, it's mentioned people from so many kilometers wide, they could hear the Kirtan. And they were having ecstatic Kirtan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing. Keshav Bharati couldn't hold it anymore. He threw away his Ekadanda. And then he also starts to dance. It's mentioned, whole day, the Guru and disciple, Sannyas Guru and disciple, they were just dancing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his Guru, Sri Keshav Bharati. So he converts everyone, including his Guru. So everyone dances. Remember Gangopadaya? He was part of this group and he was watching Nimai Pandit. He still hasn't spoken even one single word to Nimai Pandit. He has already become Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Gangopadaya, as soon as he hears this term, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. It's mentioned from that point onwards until he died. Only thing he spoke was Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Becoming mad, even after all the Vaishnavas dispersed from that place, he was just rolling in that place. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, like that. He goes back to East Bengal, chanting all the way, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Going to his home, rest of his life, this is all he was doing. So much so, as soon as everyone came to know he has become mad with this name, in full love with this name, they actually renamed him. They started calling him Caitanya Das. Simply by chanting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name, he then had the greatest fortune of fathering an exalted Vaishnava, Srinivas Acharya. So Chaitanya Das becomes the father of Srinivas Acharya, who is one of the most elevated Vaishnavas, you will see. One of the original book distributors, Shyamananda Pandit, Narottam Das Thakur and Chaitanya Das. They were all personally taught and mentored by Srila Jiva Goswami, Srinivas Acharya. So Srinivas Acharya is Chaitanya Das's son. We'll finish here. There's a lot more pastimes in continuation of this. We'll continue with this discussion tomorrow. Tomorrow onwards, we'll start with the tree of devotional service, which is chapter 9. And then we have a few more chapters before we move to Madhya Lila altogether. Now, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he says that after narrating this whole conversation Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had with the Mayavadi sannyasis, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that, so I have described all the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya in brief. This is after giving so much philosophy. In Madhya Lila, I'll elaborate, like that he says. So, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, it's mentioned that he is an expert in so many different fields of knowledge. Music, cooking. When you go to Madhya Lila, you will see his expertise in cooking. Philosophy, astrology, so many different science he knows. And as we read these pages of Caitanya Caritamrita, we will see how much our Vaishnava literature is rich with devotional information. One devotee was actually telling me, Prabhu, it looks like there are more pastimes in Chaitanya Lila than in Krishna Lila. True, unlimited. Same Krishna, unlimited pastimes. There is almost one parallel or for every pastime in Vraj Lila, there is a parallel in Chaitanya Lila. Maybe more. But there are unlimited pastimes. Even Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Vrindavan Das Thakur, whole Chaitanya Bhagavat, when he writes, Vrindavan Das Thakur himself confesses that Chaitanya, let's just get this straight. He just says it straight away. Initially, when he opens the book, saying, Supreme Lord is unlimited, Anantasesh is unlimited, even Anantasesh can't glorify the pastimes of Supreme Lord. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to, based on the instruction of my guru, I'm just going to write. Vrindavan Das Thakur is none other than Vyasadeva. So I'm just going to write, and of the pastimes which I'm writing, this condition is true, which is either I myself have witnessed directly, or I have heard from a Vaishnava who directly witnessed that pastime. That's all. It's not a hearsay, it's not some historic information or anything. But he clearly puts a disclaimer that this will give you just a drop of the transcendental oceanic pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's how he writes. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also writes like that. After giving so much in philosophy, he says, I'm just touching it briefly. I'll elaborate it more in Madhya Lila, like that. It's no exaggeration. There is so much. Even we ourselves can actually see how much the chanting this name Chaitanya itself bringing so much energy for us. Now this is Sri Caitanya Caritamrita. How much Amrita it is capable of actually generating in our hearts. So let us take this opportunity to go deep in Sri Caitanya Caritamrita, especially during this lockdown time. And then when we look back at this Corona, we will understand. Caitanya Charan Prabhu was giving a lecture, Karuna in the time of Corona, like that. We'll actually understand that this is manifestation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime. Krishna has a plan, Gopinath has a plan for everything. We are going to celebrate his anniversary on 7th of May. So we can take this opportunity to dive deeper in the transcendental pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We'll continue with Sannyas pastimes tomorrow, along with chapter 9, the tree of devotional service.
Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagavan ki jai, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Sri Caitanya Caritamrita ki jai, Shri Shri Gauranitai ki jai, Samaved Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai, devotees in Mayapur TV, YouTube, Facebook ki jai, Jai Nitai